That was awful. That was a bad game design decision. I would say it's played Hunter Call of the Wild. Big sale on right now. I've seen it play. It seems really good apart from the whole thing of shooting animals for trophies. I have not played it. But I would suspect it is good game design in the sense that it sounds like that kind of game. Most of the it'll be like in the planning, the tracking, and then the actual hunt is just you shooting it. If you shoot in the head, right, you're done. That sounds like that kind of game. Let me just look it up real quick. Hunter Call of the Wild. Yeah, yeah, like it literally says on the title, deep breath, one shot. So you take one shot. If you do it right, one shot and you're done. So like the action is it's like it's like a spike, a very sharp spike, and there's no grinding. Except I guess you have to track the animals across the wilderness. So you're like tracking, and then one shot and you're done. Like there's no grinding. That sounds like what it is. Like there's no DPS check. Freaking DPS checks. A lot of Final Fantasy games have DPS checks. And it's just like, wow, grinding is the game design. I can't believe it. How would you do that? Some JRPGs really are like that. I mean, I was criticizing Monster Hunter a little bit. I want to clarify that I really do like Monster Hunter a lot. Like, the main game is perfectly well balanced. There's not really any grind. It's like the bonus DLC stuff for the extra dedicated. Like, that stuff sometimes has grind. Which, I mean, you don't have to do any of that stuff. I've been watching other people play the latest Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Rise. It seems like the bosses there are... Like, I saw one person kill the latest DLC boss with a hunting horn. if you're not aware, the hunting horn is a support weapon. It's not really a high damage weapon. You can get a lot of buffs, right? It helps people. It doesn't really do a lot of damage. But they managed to kill it, which is cool. So the boss, it has big attacks that does a lot of damage. And if you like stand in the wrong place, it will wipe you out in 2 hits. 2 hits, not 1, right? So if it hits you once, you do have the chance to like escape, heal up, and then go back in. So you do get a second chance. You have more than 1 chance. But it does a lot of damage, and you get hit twice, you're done. You have to like you get carded. You get carded 3 times. You have to try again. So it again, like it goes back to what I was saying about Counter-Strike being high damage. And like you get hit once, you're dead in Counter-Strike. So the philosophy is like, it's not about grinding, right? It's about you knowing how to avoid getting hit while also hitting the enemy. And if you do that just like a little bit, not too much, maybe like half an hour in Monster Hunter, you manage to like avoid getting hit for half an hour, and you deal damage consistently in that time, then you win. So it's like it's not a DPS grind. Right? It's not a... It's more like, okay, dodge this guy for half an hour. That's the challenge. And I think that design is probably the right way to go. So what I'm saying is the boss doesn't have an enormous pool of hit points that you have to grind through. But it does have very high damage attacks that you have to avoid. That's the design philosophy. And I like that. If there is grinding involved, there probably should be automation involved. Where you can build something to automate the grind. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5. Close enough. I mean, even in Minecraft, if you ask like what people enjoy and what they don't enjoy, grinding for common materials is usually not the thing that people enjoy. People do enjoy looking for diamonds. Right, isn't that interesting? To find diamonds, you do have to like plow through quite a lot of stone. But if you ask people to plow through for stone just to get the stone, they don't like it. So they'll go mining for diamonds, but they won't just mine for stone. Isn't that interesting? So it's the like the low probability high reward or low probability high value rewards that really like are psychologically rewarding versus the high probability low value reward, which is like the stone, the diamonds or the stone. Even though like if you go digging, you'll get both eventually. Like you'll get diamonds and you'll get stone eventually. That's a similar thing, right? Like you don't really want to grind, but you are willing to do difficult things for spikes of reward. Spikes of high value reward. And I mean, this is completely psychological, right? I don't think there's any logical or mathematical explanation. It's just like people's instincts. You know what? Let me put a line in there. Two, three, four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. I guess like a game philosophy, not game philosophy, game psychology. There probably is like an optimal balance between the frequency of rewards, because there is. People like get bored of things after a while. But if you break a big task into small enough pieces that they fit inside the time limit until a person gets bored, they'll be able to do it. Right? Like if you divide a task into 30-minute chunks, or even that probably too long for most people. You divide a task into 10-minute chunks. Even though the task might like take literally years. If you divide it into small enough chunks, people can manage it better than if You give them like a 3-year project and you say, alright, good luck. You grind away for 3 years. Even though it's the same, it's the same task. If you just present it in 10-minute chunks versus presenting it as the 3-year task, people would respond better to it. I think I can ignore that cave. I might even just fill this in quickly and pretend there's no cave. I mean, that's what school is, right? You divide a semester course into hour-long lectures. One, two, three, four. Let's make that 5. Well, let's see what's like on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. It's like that, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Monster Hunter, each hunt is limited to 50 minutes. So if you like take preparation time, and then the hunt. So at most it's a 1 hour session. At most. But even then, as I said, in the more recent games, they've toned down the grinding. So a lot of hunts you would finish in like 15-20 minutes. The harder ones might take you like 30-40 minutes. It's not often you come up against the time limit. And like if the hunts lasted longer than that, I don't even know how people would manage to play the game. Same thing for like Hearthstone, StarCraft. They do pay attention to how long the games last. Like Hearthstone, you have 30 cards, and when you run out, then somebody loses very quick. So there's like a soft limit. Which means that like a Hearthstone game, it can feel grindy. If you have control versus control, it can feel grindy. But the design philosophy, if it's followed properly, is that it wouldn't last forever. It would last maybe half an hour. What's the longest Minecraft Hearthstone game? Like, I think it's gone over an hour by now. But it really shouldn't. It really shouldn't go for longer than like half an hour for one Hearthstone game. Even the most control meta. Just cause like you don't want to be like stuck in one game. You want to like have somebody win and then move on. Grinding really shouldn't be part of any Shouldn't be part of any game. I'm just gonna go on and say it. Alright. I'm going to make the bold statement that grinding should not be part of any game.